Marvel has made 33 movies, most of them pretty good, some of them genuinely great. And then there are these 5. These are the films Marvel's marketing team pretends don't exist. The ones that disappeared from Disney Plus recommendations. The ones fans collectively agreed to never talk about again. Today, we talk about them. All 5. No mercy. Number 5. Thor: The Dark World. And honestly, this one almost didn't make the list because it's so forgettable I kept accidentally leaving it off. The villain, Malekith, is one of the most pointless antagonists in cinema history. No motivation, no personality, no presence. Christopher Eccleston, a genuinely great actor, was given absolutely nothing to work with. The plot revolves around something called the Ether, which is basically just a red cloud that does things, evil things, vaguely. The only reason this film exists in people's memories is Loki, who at this point was carrying Thor's entire franchise on his back. Tom Hiddleston deserved better. We all deserved better. Number 4, Quantumania. And this one genuinely hurts because it had everything it needed to be great.
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this.
MODOK, one of the most unintentionally hilarious visual effects in MCU history. A floating head that looked like it escaped from a PS2 cutscene. Kong the Conqueror was supposed to be the next Thanos. Jonathan Majors is a phenomenal actor, and yet, somehow, the film never let him be threatening for more than 5 minutes at a time. The Quantum Realm, which should have been visually spectacular, looked like a generic video game level. The first Ant-Man was charming precisely because it was small scale. This film forgot everything that made that work. Number 3, Eternals. And I want to be careful here, because this is not a simple film to dismiss. Chloe Zhao is an Oscar-winning director. The cast is extraordinary. The ambition was real, but ambition without execution is just a good idea that didn't work. 10 new characters introduced at once, with a mythology so convoluted that halfway through the film, I genuinely wasn't sure who I was supposed to be rooting for. The Celestials, the Deviants, the Emergents, concepts that could have been fascinating, buried under 2.5 hours of exposition. The saddest part, there are genuinely beautiful moments in this film, moments that belong in a much better movie. Eternals is the MCU's most ambitious failure, and that makes it harder to watch than something that's just straightforwardly bad. Number 2, and yes, I know this is going to get me comments, Iron Man 2.
Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Could I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Look, I love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Everyone does. But this film is essentially a 2-hour setup for the Avengers, with a villain problem so severe it almost derailed the entire franchise. Whiplash. Mickey Rourke reportedly improvised most of his scenes and barely spoke to the director. The result is a character who feels like he wandered in from a completely different movie. And then there's the arc. Tony is poisoning himself, which should be dramatic, but the film undercuts it constantly with jokes and distractions until it stops mattering entirely. Iron Man 2 is the moment Marvel first started prioritizing franchise building over actual storytelling, and it shows. And number 1, the worst MCU film ever made, in my opinion, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no...
I know, Ragnarok is on my top 10. I loved what Taika Waititi did with Thor the first time, which is exactly why this one is so baffling. Love and Thunder takes everything that made Ragnarok work, the humor, the color, the character dynamics, and cranks it up so far past the point of no return that it stops being fun and starts being exhausting. Screaming goats, that's a real thing that happens in this film. Repeatedly. Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, a villain with genuine menace and a fascinating concept, gets maybe 15 minutes of screen time before being rushed to a conclusion that makes no sense emotionally. Jane Foster's entire arc deserved a better movie. Natalie Portman came back after years away and was given a story that should have been devastating, and it was just fine. Love and Thunder is the film that proved even the best Marvel directors can lose the plot when nobody in the room says no.